Thank you for joining XRO, India's first AR/VR focused podcast. And today I'm delighted to have with me Prajnyasis Biswal, who's an entrepreneur, investor, community builder, and growth hacker. He's currently the Chief Marketing Officer at BharatBox, Director at Brinc, a venture accelerator firm, and creator at OG Club DAO. So Prajnyasis, really appreciate you taking time and being part of the podcast. Why don't we start with a small brief introduction background?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Eddie, for inviting me to your show first. I'm really honored. And to start with, obviously, BharatBox is Sandbox India. So what we are doing is we have bought Sandbox to India, and our goal and vision is to get all the user build on Sandbox, and the brands to have a metaverse focus arm. That's the goal, because we believe that metaverse is the future, where you can also own your campaigns that you are running. So when you are running a marketing campaign, you are also owner of that. Today you are not, when you're running on a Google ad or versus a YouTube ads. When you are running them, you are not owning the data, because those are owned by decentralized ecosystem. That's where I'm focusing more. As a chief marketing officer, obviously my focus is to build and bring more users to those who want to build on Sandbox. To tell my background, I have been in the ecosystem for almost 7 to 8 years. Started with kind of growth roles. Initially, I was part of Byju's when it was very small. Obviously, have seen the scale, have helped the company grow. That was my young days, when I was coming out of college and coming out of engineering college and just hustling my way out. That was the initial days. And post that, obviously, I got bored there, because the team scaled, and I believe I am someone who works very good with a 0 to 1 journey. So once that scaled up, I joined the founding team of a company as a fifth employee, actually, and scaled again that company. They were working on the education space for developers called Skillenza. Worked there, scaled the company to almost 35, 40 plus members, raised a couple of million of dollars. And then obviously that's the growth story I was part of. And because of that, I understood the end-to-end journey of how a company has been built, because I was working in 0 to 1. And when you are working in 0 to 1 journey as a early employee, you understand that, okay, these are a lot of pieces, and you have to take a lot of hats. I was doing a lot of jobs there. It was not only focus only on growth, rather also working with the CEO very closely, sometimes becoming an assistant, sometimes becoming taking the show role of a manager. So you have to, it was generalist role. You have to shuffling between a lot of stuff. And that helped me to also be the next journey, 3 years. After that, 3 years, I was in the VC ecosystem, investing in startups. I've invested in almost 22 plus companies in their early stage, their seed, pre-seed stage, where my focus was, you can say, helping the founders. I've always come I'm a guy who is not going to only deploy capital, but also you can ask me for any kind of help. If you want to hire a developer, ping me. If you want to find someone with whom you can brainstorm about your go-to-market strategies, ping me. So I have always been that person who has always been very friendly and hands-holding with the founders at their early stage, because I have understood that money has in this market, when you are talking about 2023 India, so access to capital is cheap right now. So you have extreme amount of access to capital right now. It's just that the founders just don't want capital. Apart from that, they also want support, and they want lot of help. On side, I have always been very active. So I also built this. Sorry for the very big intro, but but on the side, I've been like very active in the community space in Web3 generally, and I also built this OG Club, which is one of the largest community in India right now for Web3 founders, builders, enthusiasts, everyone. It's like 10,000 plus members right now.
Lovely. So, Prakash, there's a lot to unpack because there's a lot of things that you said over here. And for, I think, students and entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, I think hustling and being open to be playing a generalistic role rather than a single role is so very important because, I run a small team of around 10, 11 members. And that's the habit that I've inculcated because, when there's a small team, you can do a lot, but then it can only happen if you play a generalistic role rather than just being narrow focused and saying, this is what I am good at and this is only what I'm going to do, because the world is changing. We live in a world where if you do multiple things, even a small company can scale from zero to unimaginary heights. So I want to open up a couple of things. You spoke about the Web 2.0 problem, the decentralization, ownership not being there. So I'm going to get to that. You spoke about access to capital is really cool, but somehow I somehow see this as a bear market. So I would want to open up that. Also want to speak about your OG Club, which is 10K members. But before that, let's start with Sandbox, the JV, BharatBox India. Happens to be a joint venture. Can you elaborate on the vision of and this JV between Sandbox and Brinc?
So BharatBox is like a joint venture between Brinc and Sandbox. Karan is the CEO of the company. So he also leads Brinc for India. And Sebastian, who is the CEO of Sandbox, he's a cheerleader. He has always been a cheerleader for the Indian ecosystem. And Karan was understanding the whole dynamics of how to structure it. And both Brinc and Sandbox are part of Animoca Brands. So that helped a lot. Then actually this was formed, this JV, which stakeholders are obviously Brinc, Sandbox, and rest of the team. So this was formed, and the focus of this JV is to create BharatBox in India, which we also call Sandbox India. So BharatBox, all the handles are Sandbox India only. We named it BharatBox because of creating something on the map of Sandbox, which we are calling as Indian neighborhood. And we named it BharatBox because it makes sense. So, Bharat, it has a not only cultural, emotional quotient for lot of users. So that's the reason we called it BharatBox. And for us, building this is just not just to onboard brands. Obviously, brands are coming and they are having their metaverse strategy. They're owning land parcels on the Sandbox and they're building on top of that. That is one division. Obviously, that is happening. We are working with a lot of brands right now. You and me are also going to work a lot. So for us, it's not only bringing brands. That's what I say. It also bringing a lot of developers, those who want to build on Metaverse. Lot of creators, those who want to have full-time job building on Metaverse, because that's going to be future. Just the way 2009 and 2010, there was no one to run Google Ads, because Google just started with the ad campaigns. It was so new. There were no growth roles. There were no performance marketer back then. It was just marketing, the old traditional marketing, maybe a little bit of SEO people were doing, but there were no ad campaign managers at that point of time. But today we have that as a role. Performance marketers are required at every single company. Similarly, we see Metaverse as the future, where you will have lot of builders in-house build on Metaverses. And I'm not talking about only Sandbox. Tomorrow there might be maybe once Sandbox has become big, there can be like 7 or 8 others metaverse company which can also come to play. But today, as we talk, like Sandbox is one of the largest metaverses out there.
Lovely. So we wish you the very best, and I'm very happy to know that the CEO of Sandbox really views India market as something really, really important. So BharatBox, and you're the chief marketing officer. Metaverse was in a hype, not anymore. In fact, the word itself is sometimes, when you go and speak in conferences, I mean, there's not many people who use the term, and which is fair enough, because I think technology has always been there, and it follows like a boom and burst cycle. It goes up, it comes down. The entire metaverse is going to be something which is going to be very, very relevant in the next few years. Somebody who's the chief marketing officer, how difficult has it been in this bear market to get business? Because you mentioned about, getting brands, onboarding brands, and maybe you could give some references of some brands that's already on Sandbox. What's the business model? Where's the money at? How is BharatBox making money? How is Sandbox making money? And where's the money at for maybe developers and other startups?
So I understand that when the hype cycle ends, the build cycle starts. Like that's how the nature of all the companies you see, all the big companies, and maybe in Web 2, maybe in Web 3, they all are results of bear market. They're built on the bear market, because bear market shows like you have to build with limited capital, because you cannot burn the way you burn in a bull run, and you have to be you have to have a lean team. You have to have very much focus on metrics. You have to, and you have to operate in like a cockroach, like survive and be there everywhere. But our focus has been always very sharp, and we have always done business, to be very honest. Like today also, we have onboarded almost 15 plus brands out of India, and we are obviously launching and working on all the campaigns together. So from October, you'll see like we'll be launching our partnership with a lot of people, like a lot of brands that are building on Sandbox right now. And when I'm talking about brands, these are not big brands. These are also like, there have been big brands. That is one side. We also have like gaming companies. We also have builders, like companies, those who are like, have raised funds, but right now they want to have a metaverse as a use case. They're also there. So the kind of partnership we are doing is diverse. So I think that's how we are onboarding a lot of brands. And to name some, obviously we are working with Shamaru, we are working with Hangama. These are the entertainment companies out there, big entertainment IPs. And then in terms of company, we are working with NFT communities like 824 Fund. We are working with Link. We are working with a gaming company like Stan Gaming, which has more than like 2 million users. We are working with infrastructure company like Comet. We are working with with Metaverse, which is like a mythological drama of adoption of, you can say, the Ramayana out there on Metaverse. They build a beautiful game with a lot of gameplays. So yeah, like I think these are few to name, and many more, obviously. And right now, when you ask me like what is the business model, obviously like for Sandbox is very simple. You acquire a land parcel, you become owner of land, so we get land revenues. Second is we are a platform, so whatever you're building on the land, and then whatever revenue you're generating, we take a percentage out of that. So it's a commission revenue. And third is obviously we launch assets. You can use our assets and monetize on top of that. Once you monetize, we earn as a platform as well. You have to look at your competitors as well when you're operating in any market. And I believe like all the folks right now have this in the pipeline, and it's the best time to build, because bear market gives you a lot more focus. So we do not need to hustle out to build a lot of things. Rather, we need to be very sharp, have a lot of quality checks, build a solid product out there, and then maybe launch in the bull run with a bang to generate revenue and to you can say monetize. So that's the focus, and that's how Sandbox has always generated revenue from last 6 years we have been in operation. That's how we have always generated revenue. So having like focus to build and then launch in the right timing of the market, uh, and make money during the right times of the market. So
In the beginning of the conversation, you were mentioning about Web 2.0 being something which is exploitative and has been exploiting users forever. And Web 3.0 has got this promise which says that it's going to be decentralized, it's going to be open, transparent, where the user gets to own. But somehow when the bull run was happening, I think the entire Web 3.0 bandwagon and most of the startups were all worried about, only focused on making their money. And that's the reason, we saw these NFTs, which were scribble NFTs, shitty, scrappy NFTs selling for millions of dollars. How do we bring some sanity into this metaverse and Web 3.0? Where we cut the bullshit out, we cut the hype out, and make brands and make everybody realize that this is not a magic technology. It is something can benefit only if there is utility. And if there's no utility around the business proposition of the application, then the hype is not going to give you anything. So first, maybe it'll be very good if you can kind of, set the ground and make people understand or define what Web 2.0, Web 3.0 is with the decentralization layer, the hype versus the ground truth on what a startup or company should do to be relevant today and for the next decade.
Yeah. I'll give you some good analogy. Like before Web 2, there was Web 1. So from Web 1, there was Web 2, and then now we have Web 3. So when Web 1 is the era of internet, obviously we having internet, like access to data internet, but there was no search engine, there was no data queries, there was no data point out there. Then Google came, they built a product, but they started owning a lot of data, like they started capturing a lot of data points. What happened is, like, I'm not saying all the centralized ecosystem are bad. So you need, like, both of them need to coexist. There should be centralization, there should be decentralization. But we saw an era which was completely a lot of centralization. And the first product which was decentralized enough in nature, that is HTML. HTML is decentralized. So till date, HTML is decentralized, like, because it's open source. So when it's open source, like, you can use like HTML and build. Till date, maximum websites that you see, the whole front end is built on HTML. And now obviously there have been a lot of more technology has come up, but HTML was always like open source and it was decentralized. But with all this, like Google and the behemoths like Facebook, all of them came, they started capturing all the data points. And with the data point, what happens is that, like, I want to say, like, if I am the owner of data and you are taking my data and then you are running ads and making money as a company, being like, because those data are captured by you, which is our data, and then you're showing ads to us. So we should also earn the revenue because that is our data point at the end, which is not possible with the centralized ecosystem. Whatever earn goes, it's maybe to the creator who is running the campaign because he's generating some ROI out of running this ad. Or second is obviously all these big companies like Google, YouTube, Facebook. So with Web3, what happened is with the decentralization, you like the protocols and all the layers that have been built, the infrastructure, and with blockchain as a technology. And I'm a pro as a blockchain. I'm not pro as Web 2, Web 3, Web 1 or whatever. So these are like just the trains and jargon set by a few set of people. But I'm pro of blockchain as a technology. In a blockchain as a technology, it's decentralized. It can be secure. It can be fast enough. Like there is a trilemma in blockchain that you cannot solve three of them. But actually, I understand that over a period of time, it is becoming so better that at least you can somehow manage to solve three of them at some scale. So here you understand here, if I have a data point, I'm also earning because I own that asset. So anything on Metaverse, like tomorrow, brand like, let's say you will go, XR Om will run a podcast on a land parcel that is owned by me. So you are also earning, I'm also earning. And also the platform is earning, which is channelizing all three of us. So this is what is not possible in with Google Ads or YouTube or anywhere else. It's not possible. In YouTube, only the people who is running has uploaded the show, and I say like YouTube, they both are earning. Who is watching, they're not. But here, being an asset owner, I can also earn. So that's what I'm saying. Like this was required because we want few things in the centralized ecosystem as well, because scale will not happen in decentralization. So we need some things on the centralized world, but there are a lot of things we also don't want. So we want it to happen in a decentralized way. So there should be a mixture of both. So I think to answer your question, I obviously will agree. Like a lot of NFTs were also like very shitty NFTs, those who have made money. I absolutely agree to that, and I also agree to the point that this is a very young or new ecosystem where it needs at least like 5-year or 10-year cycle for you to understand like what will work, what will not work, which sectors you should build for. Because primarily blockchain started with finance, entertainment, gaming, artists, all this ecosystem. So now we need to understand like, okay, maybe blockchain can be really used in supply chain. That's solving a lot of problems there. So apart from gaming, it can be in supply chain. So I think those new things, the ecosystem is also understanding right now. It's slowly growing. I hope I answered your question, but I think you should give the ecosystem more time to grow.
I don't pressure the ecosystem. I completely understand. I think blockchain is one of the most potent technologies. And rather than hyping it just for the heck of it, we should let it seep into the industries and, help it create these utilities which really benefits the industry. And I think blockchain is so potent that it can not just benefit the finance industry, but like you said, I mean, the supply chain, healthcare, and so many other industries. We should obviously, but the approach that we had taken was I think that's what we normally do with every technology, any technology that comes in. I think a bunch of the tech maximalist and investors kind of push it to self-serving needs, so that the hype cycle gives it enough value so that the value comes out of it, and we don't give it that natural push to flourish in a way that it really actually benefits everyone. Now you mentioned that in this the bear market is the best time for startups to start building, be nimble, be frugal, be a lean team, and grow, because this is the best time, because the smart investors knows that the valuation is also less, so it's the best time to kind of invest into startups. But that is not, at least, I don't know whether I'm wrong, but that's what's not been happening at this point of time. You said the flow of access, the capital is humongous. Even that's something which I'm not seeing, because there's a lot of startups, at least I know, because I converse with a lot of people, not just in the AR, VR, Metaverse space, but across the tech ecosystem, because I host 2 podcasts. One is XR Room, which is a AR, VR, Metaverse focused podcast. The second is the Once Changing the World podcast, where I converse with deep tech, frontier tech, emerging emerging tech leaders, and the conversations I've had, and almost all of the founders say that, I mean, this is a bear market. No, the investors are not losing their purse, and we've got like really really cool ecosystem. So product, service, and solution. You have been invested somewhere around 22 early stage startups. How does one go about being contextual, relevant, and foolproof to an investor? What are the ideas or inputs or suggestions that you can give to startups, across the AR, VR, Metaverse, Web3, and emerging tech space?
Yeah, so to answer that question, I'll agree with you. Like there have been like a lot of investors are waiting to deploy, and specifically when it comes to Web 3.0, there is like there is no clarity, almost like very minimal clarity in terms of regulations as well. So the deployment is not just because of the bear market. The deployment has slowed down because of less clarity on regulations, less clarity on from where you should build exactly, what kind of product should be built from which kind of regions. That is one. Second is, I think still a lot of I think Shori Protocol raised around 52 million in this kind of market from A16Z crypto and all of these guys. So from US standpoint of view or global standpoint of view, if I say you, like the deployment is happening. Last week, I was in Token 2049, which is one of the biggest event for the blockchain enthusiasts. And I did not feel like it's a bear market. To see like everyone was doing a marketing campaign, a lot of founders were there. It was jam packed. There was like everyone was almost there who was building in the space. All the investors were there. They were active. Agree, like if there were like 100 investments that we were doing in the bull run, now we are doing maybe like 5 or 6. That has decreased. Like it has decreased by 90%. But I also believe that right kind of people are still attracting capital. Right builders are still attracting capital. And it's just that few investors are holding on because they also want to see the course, how it plays out. And they also want to see that who are the survivors, and they will double down on them. They're also waiting. So it's a wait and watch kind of a play for a lot of investors, at least for the Web3 space I can talk about. But I also believe that this ecosystem has so much potential. Like you will see like the next narrative, which is like narrative building is very important when it comes to fundraise as well. So the next narrative is not going to be Web 3.0 or blockchain as a technology. Next narrative is or should be like what I have understood from my experiences for all the founders watching. Your narrative mostly should be like building a solution for the right problem. That's it. Your narrative should not be like we are a Web 3.0 company, we're a blockchain company. That's a poor narrative. So I think the narrative should be we are building like right solutions for the right problem exist. We are using blockchain as a technology or AI as a solution, whatever you can have, but only focus on your problems and the solution. If you're in the DeFi space, you are solving a financial problem, just focus on telling that we are solving this financial problem in a better way using blockchain. That's it. Do not need to use jargons like we are DeFi, we are decentralized finance. Don't. You are solving the problem, show the solutions and better modify the solution. Make what happened like when you actually rightly mentioned like the tech maximalist and all the investor exploited last ecosystem. Why I will say you, because whenever an innovation happen, it is built by a developer ecosystem initially, and all the user and products you see today in Web3 are developer centric products. Like developer understand a seed phrase, how to do a login and everything. These are all developer heavy products. So once the developer heavy product cycle was gone, now we are seeing like there are wallets which you can just create with a social login. You can create with your OTP or your Google or whatever, and your wallet is your smart contract wallet is automatically created. Those kind of products we are seeing today. Tomorrow you will see products, those are doing the same, solving the same problem the way Web2 products were solving, the way you are seeing the Web2 world, you'll see them, but underline there will be blockchain technology. Underline it will be powered by blockchain technology. The biggest example today is DG Yatra. DG Yatra is by government and it uses blockchain technology. We are doing it with a code scanner and we are just scanning it and we are just going. But the whole technology has been empowered by blockchain. So I think we are very near to there where you will see this narrative changing, and there will be blockchain as a technology. There is no Web2, Web1, Web3. That era is also evolved, and we are living in a very fast-moving environment. Every day there is something new happening. Every day there is like today Gen AI, tomorrow there will be robotics, third day semiconductor. Everything is very fast here, and I think it's good for the ecosystem also to navigate through all this noise and build your own product.
Yes, I completely W. I mean, it's like take the tech out of it and say, okay, what's the problem that you're solving? And then I think we'll be good. You're the creator at OG Club DAO, Decentralized Autonomous Organization. Again, something which is vouched to be the future of businesses. What the front movers say that the next business is going to be run by code. And not so much the people. So maybe can you elaborate what Decentralized Autonomous Organization, what OG Club DAO is?
Yeah, so with OG Club, the goal when we started, there was like no forum for Web3 builders, investors, everyone to be at one place, because I was investing at that point of time and I was thinking, where is a forum where I can connect and meet people? Just the way you have in Web2, there are a lot of forums out there, but there was nothing out there. So what I thought is like, why not to start a community which will be for everyone? And we have registered, like OG Club is under public goods, like it's not for profit. It has a foundational structure. So when we did it, like my goal was to just build a forum where all the frontier or builders or investors or whoever is in the blockchain space, they have a common place where they can hang out. I never thought to make it so big or what it is today. Honestly, I'm telling you very honestly. So I thought like, okay, like if we're getting so much people, but we don't have money to run this. So let's make it a decentralized autonomous organization where it is like every single member is like, maybe I created it, but we all have same like, power in the community. So we made right now there is a core group like of 22 folks. So we vote. We're not doing on-chain vote. We're doing off-chain vote, but the goal is to make everything on-chain at some point of time. So when I say off-chain voting, like, do we need to partner with this organization for this event? This is a question. There will be this poll will go out on the community, on our group, and all people will vote. Even the logo you see is voted. I voted no for that logo, but the logo still exists there. So that's the power, like the day it becomes on-chain voting, like everyone will own an NFT or a token of OG Club, and then they are able to vote and then they are able to take decision. I think that will be completely a DAO. Today, it's in a process of becoming a DAO where there is little bit on-chain, little bit off-chain. But yeah, like, see, like I created it, but today I see like it would not have been grown without this folks. It would never have grown such big without all the members out there grow. What we do like the same stuff that you see in any forum in any Web2 forum. We do like a lot of events, meetups, hackathons, you can say, catch-up sessions, Twitter spaces. So it's a common forum where it's for all people to hang out and just chill and build.
Lovely. How cool is that? I wish you the very best. I think building community is so core of creating a foundational layer of something to grow into something really beautiful. And that OG Club is an example of that. And I think DAOs would be the future of how businesses function, because we're sitting in such a fantastic point of time with this convergence of technologies, because there's not one single technology. I think, AI is converging with metaverse converging with the underlying layer of economic, which is Web 3.0, then to power it is 5G, and so on and so forth. So this convergence is bringing so much value to users. And in the next few years, I think we're getting into a world which is going to be full of opportunity as well as scary. Opportunities for those who are spending time learning more and creating, and scary for those who are missing the bandwagon, and scary for the world if we allow it to go into the wrong hands, because these technologies are getting very, very potential. So the reason I do this podcast is to create awareness about this technology and push everyone to understand and say that, even they can, anybody sitting anywhere in the world, and if they've got desire and intent and internet, you can also participate in this future. So that's the reason I kind of nudge everyone. My last question to you now, Metaverse. You guys have been invested in Metaverse. BharatBox is part of Sandbox, and you guys pushing the ecosystem forward. How is Metaverse going to impact India's society in the next 5 to 10 years? And paint a picture of what BharatBox is going to do to be a catalyst in that space.
Yeah, so to be very honest, I think every single product company, entertainment company, IPs out there will have a presence on Metaverse, because it's not an option anymore. It used to be an option. It's now a must for everyone out there, because, like the ecosystem is shaping out very strongly. When it comes to, when I am saying ecosystem, in terms of blockchain as a technology, we're seeing products like Sandbox, where you can have a land parcel, you own that land parcel, and you are monetizing on top of that. When we are talking about AR, VR as an ecosystem, you see like Apple coming with Vision Pro, and then you have like already infrastructure ready out there. Then you need to build a lot of games and have a lot of IP presence inside them. So infrastructure has already been built. Now it's about the responsibility of brands, those who have already built a brand persona across, let's say, YouTube, across other centralized ecosystem. Today, you are also getting a chance to build them and maximize out your returns or your revenue with the decentralized ecosystem, and also with like ecosystem like technology like VR, AR and all. So I think it's a must for everyone to have this metaverse presence. Brands have already understood that. It's just that we are at the junction where it's a transition. So it will take time. For adoption takes time when you are in that transition phase. There will be a day where you will see like on top of metaverse, every single brand will have their offices, their concerts, their showroom, their meetups, their community catch-ups, their podcasts, everything on top of a metaverse. And you will say the avatars talking to each other, playing with each other, and you will see brands interacting and exchanging and doing business with each other on top of metaverse. That's not very far. I see like it's a time of like next maybe like 4 to 5 years. And to answer your question of BharatBox, we want to be the front runner for all these experiences on Sandbox and growing it in a decentralized way. That's our focus. But yeah, you never know how we will shape and structure it. But we want to become the front runner in terms of having all this metaverse activation in a decentralized way.
Thank you, Prajnyasis, for taking time and being part of the podcast. Wish you and the team at BharatBox the very best. Yes, exciting times. And I think brands, users, consumers should take notice of this transition, the transition you mentioned about. We are in this transition. It might look hazy. It might look like, oh, maybe this is 10 years, 15 years away, but you never know. These transitions is something which no person can actually estimate or guess on when this might get very, very relevant and contextual for the brand. And it could be the place where all the businesses might happen, because I have an 8-year-old son and he's virtually, existing, living on the virtual world. He gets up in the morning, he he attends the first of its kind, virtual school. He's gaming. All his friends are connect with him on either one of the gaming platform, where he meets with them, communicates with them, plays with them. Though yes, I do understand, as father of an 8-year-old son, that too much of virtual and digital interface is not really good. But then I think there's a trade-off, and you allow that trade-off because this world is becoming more and more digital. Just maybe 10 years back, we used to get down and go down to a Kirana store and buy anything and everything. With Web 2.0, the apps ecosystem, we started using our apps for traveling, for buying underwears, for buying anything and everything. So basically, that was a transition, and people didn't estimate that we would go and use a phone for everything. And I think maybe the virtual world could be that transition, where the metaverse, where all the brands and all the consumers are going to be existing over there. When it's going to happen, God knows. But yes, I think that's a place I think brands should start building and taking space on. So wish you
double down. I think just you actually answered our tagline. Our tagline of Sandbox is to own, meet, play, learn, and earn. So everything on the metaverse, on top of the metaverse. That's actually the tagline. You actually told it by with example of what your son is doing. So we understand that we are reaching near there. And yeah, thank you so much for inviting to this. I absolutely had fun with all the questions that you shoot at me. But yeah, it was fun, and maybe we'll chat more offline, and we'll learn more about what we are doing in a depth way.
Perfect. Thank you, Prajnyasis, for taking time and being part of the podcast. And to my listeners, if you like what you see in here, then please press the subscribe button. Until next time, see you guys. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.